Good afternoon all and welcome to St. Cloud Rotary, the best place to be on a Tuesday. It's so good. I got my fortune cookie. How many of you have the fortune? I put it behind my ear like I've been taught. I take it out and it says, you will inherit a large sum of money. Yeah. Well, this is a good club. Anyway, welcome all. Let's play a game. Which Rotarian is it anyway? Our guest host today is Jim Knobloch. Jim.
Which Rotarian is it anyway? This Rotarian's first car was a 1951 Chevy. This Rotarian's first job was at Ami's Music Store.
Mark Henry.
This Rotarian's, a previous job this Rotarian had was the senior vice president at Coast to Coast hardware stores.
Raleigh Carlson.
Raleigh Carlson. All right, this Rotarian was born in Thief River Falls, but graduated from Peck High School. And this was the giveaway, if you didn't get it earlier. The last job before the current one this Rotarian had was the manager of the Hudson, Wisconsin Golf Club. That would have done it. So thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Okay, folks, why don't you stand up and say hello to somebody with a lot of visitors around the table. Meet some new people. Meet up people.
Just when you made me start.
Bud Bergstrom. Mert Hubbard. I tell you that.
Right here. Yeah.
Check my papers.
The back of the blue book, the four-way test.
Kind of retired.
The things that we say and do.
7.5 years now.
Care for all concerned, will build goodwill and better friendships, will be beneficial to all concerned.
Will it be? Steve Brenton is going to lead us in a song. Steve, will this be beneficial to all concerned?
Well, okay. Since our last meeting, a tradition has been started again, or an event has been started again here in town. And what is that tradition? The Rocks. The Rocks. So of course we're going to sing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game."
Good idea.
Oh, here we go. Take me out
to the ball game, take me out with the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. I don't care if I ever get back, so it's root for the home team. If they don't win, it's a shame. For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game.
This club has its own sense of pitch, because I started that about a fourth higher. They lead only to a point. And of course, the tradition at a baseball game is the national anthem. Let's sing that.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Good choice, man. Stay standing while the Laraway comes up for the invocation. Steve.
Well, I heard on the radio that Memorial Day is kind of the unofficial start of summer, but I really don't think it's summer until we hit June. So today's prayer or blessing is, a summer blessing. May we as Rotarians walk and talk with God this summer in whatever we do and wherever we go. Walking with God means walking with honesty and courage. Walking with God means walking with love and respect and concern for the feelings of others. May we as Rotarians talk to God this summer in every day and in every situation. Talking with God means praying words of praise for the beauty of creation. Talking with God means saying prayers of thanks for our Rotary friends and for the good times in the past and the good times ahead. Talking with God means asking God's help in all our decisions as individuals and as a Rotary club. Talking with God also means expressing sorrow when we have failed in any way. May each of us this summer and always walk and talk with God. For this we pray. Amen.
Amen. All right. Thank you, Stephen. Please be seated, folks. Please be seated. And our greeter today was Jamie Hinkemeyer. Jamie's back there in the corner. Let's give him a round of applause. Do we have any visiting Rotarians? I see a few of them out there that look like snowbirds, but...
I met one, Warren Tejan from Sunbelt.
Who's that? Warren Tejan. Warren Tejan. Who is that? I thought his daughter might introduce him, but we'll get around to that. All right, we're going to take a quick look at guests down the line. Visiting Rotarian. Oh, you got visiting Rotarian.
Yes,
Oh, yes.
Mr. President. Pleased me to introduce my father-in-law, Dr. Bud Bergstrom, visiting Rotarian from Medford, Oregon.
Oh, that's nice. Welcome, Bud. Just in your town a little while ago. Nice area down there. Okay, any other visiting Rotarians that snuck through? Okay, guests, we have a lot of guests at this table. Anybody doing introduction? We'll go to another table. Let's start with this side then. They all look familiar. Jackie Bach, anybody at your table? I can't see behind you. At this table right here, I'm going to make a special welcome to... Oh, you're going to do it?
I can do it.
Okay.
I'm pleased to announce or have you welcome Don Helgeson and Sue Shepard.
The reason being that they're actually guests of Tim Wentzman, who couldn't be there. Can you believe that? All right, how about the table back there where you are at, Steve Bresnan? Anybody there? How about the back table? I'm looking around trying to see if I can see. You've got one? That table does. We know that. This table here, everybody looks pretty familiar. How about back there? All right, there we go. And now we're back to this table.
I'm rehearsed by now, so I got to call order. We have some guests from St. Cloud State University. On the end is Phil Gotti. And we have Patricia Hughes. Oops. I'll start again. My guests from St. Cloud State University are Phil Gotti on the end, Patricia Hughes, Ken Rebeck, and Warren Rosenbach from all from St. Cloud State.
Very welcome. John, you want to introduce our guest who's not the speaker?
No, we're going to do that later.
You're going to do both of them later. Okay, real good. How that was going to work. Okay, Jamie, have you drawn a winning number? Take out your reddish Technic, folks. I got mine somewhere, but I didn't win anyway.
I have 777322.
Oh, 322. Who's here? Who's got it? 309, so Dr. Rogers got mine. So who's got 322? Nobody? Watch, Bill Maney's going to say he's got it. Oh. You know what?
I don't think so.
What is it again? Come on, you folks. It's not that hard to look at this. 3777322. Oh, Bill's got him over there. Oh, give her the loot. All right. I tell you, it's getting so tough to give away money these days. All right. It is the 1st of June, the first week in June, I should say, and the first meeting in June, and we have some birthdays this week. This month, we only have 3, and they're all here. Terry Rothstein on the 9th. Terry, we don't have the ages, we just have the dates. And Drew Huffman back there in the corner. It's Drew's birthday on the 23rd this month, and Marv Solder, Marv Mark's birthday is the 26th, so let's sing, Steve.
For those of you that don't know it, it's number 143 in the...
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Rotarians. Happy birthday to you.
Yeah, I saw Dan Woodlock going, what's that, 142? Was that, what was that number?
I won twice already.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He thought it was the number was slipping. It turns out it's the number we're singing. Okay, we have Troy Fritz coming up now. Troy is going to do some our wonderful awards for some of the folks in a bit of business. Troy.
Well, Jim's fortune was to inherit money. Mine's you will make a change for the better. If you'll all support me, I'd like to begin impeachment proceedings. Several of our Rotarians are gone for the winter. Others just haven't been here when we've done presentations or Paul Harris Fellows. So with those of you that are here today, I'd like to do a few presentations as we kind of wrap up this year. So when I call your name, if you can come up and be recognized for your contribution to the foundation of Paul Harris level. Again, we reached about $35,000, 100% participation for 2 years in a row. We've kind of set a precedence for the future. So the first person I'd like to recognize is Mr. Mark Henry for his first Paul Harris Fellow. Come on up, Mark. That first Paul Harris is always a very special recognition, so thank you, Mark, for doing that. Appreciate it. And then with our Paul Harris Fellow Plus One, Mr. Greg Tice. Come on up, Greg. Thank you. And then we have a Paul Harris Fellow Plus Three, Mr. Holtzkamp, Doug Holtzkamp. Wow. Scanning the crowd, see if any of the others snuck in here. And then Paul Harris Fellow Plus Five, Mr. George Torrey. Come on up. And then just maybe to mention those that we'll recognize in the future, Paul Harris Plus 5, Gary Marsden, Paul Harris Plus 3, Bob Mahol, Paul Harris Plus 5, Don Watkins, and Paul Harris Plus 1, Terrell Clark. So when they are here and able to join us, we'll recognize them as well. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we have a lot of announcements, so put your ears on, folks. Diane Kroska, can you believe she wants to talk about? Oh, what did you want to talk about? She says, oh, I don't want to talk about nothing. Orange shirt. Orange shirt. Are we going to guess who chose that color?
Pay Justice in this because it looks good on you. Okay, a few announcements. As you know, we added ice cream sales this year. However, and also we're going to be doing the water sales with the wagon through the crowd on nights. However, when it's cold out, when it's like below 70, overcast, we still have the concert, but people aren't going to be in the mood for ice cream. We very well could cancel going through the crowd with water and the ice cream sale. So if you are scheduled and you wonder if we're going to have it or not, you'll need to contact Dave or I. Or you can just show up and have fun anyway. Also, since ice cream sales are new, who's ever working there, if you please keep track of especially what people are asking for, if they're asking for the same thing over and over again, because I've tried to do a variety, but I'm not sure how I did on the orders. Remember, there are no extras this year. If you are scheduled, I need you there. And if you can't come, find a replacement. We're scheduling a lot smarter this year. I know Greg Jade made a big change in Little Georgetown where last year I had to schedule 6 people every week because they didn't know if the organizations doing the crafts and arts were going to bring their own volunteers or not. So this year Greg just said, yeah, you could come, please bring your own volunteers so we don't need to staff that area. I have some people starting later, garbage pickup. There is no garbage there at 5 o'clock yet. And so there's no reason to have people scheduled there. So I've tried to do the schedule a lot smarter this year. Let me know how I did. Reminder to stay until it's all cleaned up, please. I do have 2 people scheduled at raffle, even at the beginning, though, and I know it's going to be slow, but there's just 2 people at water and 2 people at ice cream, so I'm hoping one of the people at raffle will go around and give breaks to some of the others. Money is going to be handled a lot different this year. Chris Davis has a crew of people that will have extra change on hand if you get short. They're also going to be making, especially on the busy nights, periodic pickups and drop-offs so that the cash doesn't get to be quite so overwhelming. The last thing I want to talk about is we bought those nice, wonderful 10 collapsible picnic tables I was telling you about. Well, we found out yesterday when we opened the boxes that they need to be put together. So all of you who are really happy that you don't have to carry those 2-ton tables around this year, tomorrow we're going to meet at Lake George and put those together. So if you're able to help, please let me know. Sean Conlon has agreed to help. He'd like to be there around 4-ish, John?
4:30.
Yeah, around 4:30. So if you're able to just stop down at that time or any time after until, we'll be working until they're done. We need, now I am the most unmechanical person you'll ever meet and I have no idea what this is. We need a hand drill with a torque setting and Phillips screwdriver head.
Sean said that.
Well, we'll want more than one so we can put multiple tables together. So if you're able to help us, please come down to Lake George. Oh, the best part is Dave Tripp said he will provide the beverages. Any questions, let me know.
The questions just are all over the place, aren't they? Yummy.
Sorry, a lot of you have asked about the schedule. I am still getting in the volunteer sign-up sheets from some of you, and I'm happy to say that after today, I think there's only about 5 people I have not received it from. Isn't that great? So today, this morning, I did the schedule for next week. If you are working, you received an email this morning saying you are scheduled. In the next day, I will be doing the June 20th schedule, and you will get an email saying you are scheduled. Within the week, I will schedule through July 4th, and then I want to get a couple days under our belt to make sure that I have the right amount of volunteers and the right times, and then as soon as I'm sure of that, I'll do the rest of the summer.
Thank you. I'm kind of concerned if I turn my back, she'll be back up again. So I'm watching. All right, Janelle Kendall in the back, a quick message.
Just a quick thank you from Chun Li, Angel, the Chinese lady who came here to talk to us. A thank you with her and her computer that we bought for her. And also just an update, I think I told you before, but President Clinton and the Clinton Foundation will be building the school for her in China. They're working on it right now, and Dr. Johnson from St. Cloud State is on her way back to China. So here's a thank you. I'll pass it around.
I just want to be part of this stuff. Chris, a quick message on Trina.
For those of you who don't know, Trina is our catering director. She's the one that works with some of the committee members and puts all this together. And she had a baby, May 29th, her first baby, at the St. Cloud Hospital, C-section after a long labor. But his name is Logan Benton, and he's doing great, and so is Mom.
All right. For those of you who don't know Trina, she's a tremendous help in the background operations of these meals every week. Drew Holgren has a couple minutes. Had a couple minutes and went away. Oh well.
Might as well stay on. We don't have the microphone. Okay, I'll talk loud. First of all, this probably should be a happy buck or an opportunity, but I found one T-shirt over on that table in the bag last week. So, Al, all right, I'll bring it back to you when I come back. Maybe a happy buck might be in order. All right, you guys, I've spared you the details and the lead up to the fundraiser, but it is upon us now. So as you noticed as you came in, I handed you envelopes with your, I don't know why I'm talking into this, I handed you envelopes with your raffle tickets in them. This year we are raffling off the silver-colored Chevy Equinox. It's an SUV. Hopefully it'll be appealing to a greater number of people. We'll be able to sell even more tickets. The raffle will start the same night, I believe, that we start the event. So what we're doing this year is each of you have 30 tickets in your envelope. We're asking every member of the club to sell or buy at least 30 tickets. And, lasagna? No. So that's what's in your envelope. But we're asking you can go beyond that. And maybe the best thing I can tell you is to just remember or remind yourself of what good we're doing with the foundation. We haven't done a foundation update lately, and I think we're going to be doing one soon. But just in the last year, think of what we've done with the foundation. Between the latest project in the Dominican Republic, to the continued maintenance of Lake George, to the recent purchase of boats and things like that for Lake George. There was another one that just came up recently, the Can-Am Games. All of that came as a result of the money raised for the foundation. Not to mention the continued growth of the foundation, the interest that is used for more grants and more great purposes. So be motivated by the fact that all the money we raise from this fundraiser goes to support our foundation. And it's our foundation. So please be motivated by that. Also, if you need to be motivated by the competition, we're going to make it fun this year. We've upped the prize a little bit. $200 cash to the person that sells the most tickets. Let's see who can beat Gary. He sold the most tickets last year. And I do have extras. All I've given out are the 30 per member, but there are extra tickets. And some people have already picked up a few extras from me. If you're motivated and you want to sell more than your 30, please come see me and I'll give you more tickets. If you're here today and you haven't received your envelope of tickets yet, see me afterwards. I do have them in a box back there. This is bad. Need my glasses. Just a couple of quick things about this type of fundraiser, because we're always still going to have a few people that might grouse about it. But think about what we've accomplished by going to this type of a fundraiser. We now have a fundraiser that is capable of raising a lot of money. That's always been one of our goals. If we all sell our tickets, plus we sell the rest, we printed 6,000 total tickets. We can net between $35,000 and $40,000 for our foundation this year. That's a reachable goal. So we can raise a lot of money. The next thing is we raise that money on the backs of other folks in the community. We've had fundraisers in the past where it all came out of this club. But now we have a fundraiser where we can literally raise the money from other folks in the community. And that's what we should be doing. Next, it's one of those where if you don't like to work, just write a check. Write a check. $300. It's as easy as that. If you'd rather not get out and sell tickets, write a check. Okay? But if you don't want to have to write a check, sell your tickets. It's as simple as that. So it's an easy thing, and I just want to encourage everybody to do that. Let's make it fun. Let's sell all those tickets. Let's raise a lot of money. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, get that shirt back to Al back there. Okay, let's see. Raleigh, you wanted to do two things. One, you want to talk first, but you have to introduce your member in transition guest.
Member in transition, Tom Olson, food and beverage manager, St. Cloud Country Club. And little scratch paper on your tables. The Rotary Golf Tournament Summer Social, Monday, the 23rd of July at St. Cloud Country Club.
All right, thank you. The golf club outing has always been a lot of fun. Sign up, get your teams together, get that ready to go. And Dave Haugen has a couple of very nice thank you notes. You might as well go from there, Dave. There's no microphone here.
There is no microphone, but I think you can hear me. The students were very appreciative of the scholarships we handed out. We handed out 5 scholarships, one each school. A couple of thank yous. One from Isaac Fremming from St. Cloud Christian School. He said, Rotary members, I wish to express my sincere thanks for the scholarship I have recently received. I plan to go to North Dakota State University in the fall to study mechanical engineering. I appreciate your willingness to invest in my future. As for the scholarship request, I'll forward the statement. Thank you for your generous gift. So that's from Isaac. You remember Isaac, he was a tall drink of water. And we did get a thank you from David Schindel from Tech High School. He says, Dear Rotary Club, it was a great experience being a junior Rotarian. I made a lot of connections, and I hope I made a good impression on how Rotary looks at tech. Thank you for giving me this great award. It will come in handy to pursue my goal on becoming an engineer. Thank you once more, and have a great day. So it's fun to kind of get a feel for the impact this has on the students. They're very thankful. So look forward to it next year.
Okay, thank you, David. There's pump outside, so it must be working. And we're back to empowering. Thank you, Chris. What's that?
Get the old one back.
Get the old one back. Gather Hill in the corner over there, I think. Okay, we got a little bit of a fun thing to do here. That's it, Kathy Mihalik up here with, oh, did Teresa get away?
Yeah.
Oh, well. We're introducing Kathy as a new member. You've seen her for a while, and she's completed her part for the red badge. We're going to do this today just because it's been hard. We don't have the red badge from David Tripp, but we're still going to go ahead. So.
Sounds good, I'm here.
Okay. Some days, that's what you work with. Okay, so Kathy, it's my great pleasure on behalf of the Board of Directors and the members of this Rotary Club to welcome you as a member. And while we can make you a member of this Rotary Club, we cannot make you a Rotarian. That is an honor which you must gain for yourself. We welcome you not only for the fine fellowship we will share with you, but also for the strong arm which will help us carry out our many projects dedicated to making this country, this community, our country, and the world a better place to live. And you've heard about some of those today as you stood there kind of listening. Rotary is not a political organization, but all Rotarians everywhere are vitally concerned with everything pertaining to good citizenship and the election of good people to public office. Rotary is not a charitable organization. That doesn't mean you can't give. We have been a kindly and comprehensive grasp are all the goat charity and all the sacrifices that one should expect from people who believe the golden rule is more than a mere theory. And Rotary is not a religious organization. It knows no race, no creed, and yet behind it are all those eternal principles that have made religion the vital influence it's been on the destinies of so many people through the ages. Rotary is an organization of business and professional people pledged to the highest standards and professional and business standards. They are people who believe that worldwide fellowship and international peace could be achieved through business people united under the banner of service. That's what we do when we go overseas. That's what we do when we work here in the community. Rotarians worldwide live every day by the four-way test, which is prominently displayed in our weekly meetings. You, Kathy, have been chosen for membership in the St. Cloud Rotary Club because your fellow members believe in you to be a leader in your classification, and because you manifest those qualities of head and heart which fit you to interpret and impart the message of our Rotary Club. The community will know and judge Rotary by your embodiment of its character and service. We accept you as a member because our principles and organization are safe in your keeping. It's our pleasure to present you with the Rotary lapel pin, and wear it with pride. We also present a certificate to probably display at your office, information and things like that. So it gives me great pleasure to welcome you, Kathy, to the St. Cloud Rotary Club. Let's give her a round of welcome.
My introduction will be shorter than the induction, because I know you've heard that all before, and many of you might have heard me present here before too. Again, my name is Kathy Mihalik. To make it easy, say the hell, say the itch, and it rhymes and it works, in case you forget. My job with the City of St. Cloud, and just marking a year last Friday, is the Economic Development Director for the City of St. Cloud. And basically what that means is I work with business recruitment, retention, and expansion, many of the larger businesses as well as small businesses. And it's been a great joy working for the City of St. Cloud. Previous to that, I served in the City of Elk River for 11 years and 4 years in the City of Olivia doing the same position. I'm originally from Sauk Center. My maiden name is Fiddler. There's a lot of them up that way if you know any of them. Grew up second oldest in a family of 8, so I know how to raise my voice to be heard if I need to. I'm also a St. Cloud State graduate of the Local and Urban Affairs program, now called Community Development, and I live in Becker with my family. My husband Dave of 16 years, who is a property insurance adjuster for Grinnell Mutual Reinsurance, and we have a 10-year-old son Luke and a 6.5-year-old daughter Kate. That keep us pretty busy. Some of our interests are we are season ticket holders for Husky hockey, so that keeps us coming back to the area all winter long. And in the summer months, I like to train and run a couple half marathons. I'll be doing Grandma's Half next week. God willing, I don't hurt myself before then. And then a reason why I wanted to join Rotary is I was actually a Rotarian for my 11 years in Elk River, and probably served as the club secretary for many years, as well as the club past president one of those years, and it brought me great joy and pleasure with a club of about 50 members, and really became like family to me. In fact, that's the part of Elk River I miss the most. But my journey goes on. I'm happy to join and continue my Rotary journey here in St. Cloud and my new Rotary family. So thank you very much.
Thank you. That actually works for me, how to remember your name. Well, let's see. We're running a little bit tight for time. So I'm going to turn this over to John. He's got one message. He wants to do one thing. Sorry. I didn't
And you're next, John.
I'll practice my lines.
On your table, there's some sheets that look like this. The St. Cloud Central Minnesota SCORE chapter is sponsoring, along with the FBI, Small Business Administration, the Falcon Bank, and the SBA, the seminar on cyber security. So if anybody that's got a small or medium-sized business, or even a big business, should be coming to this seminar. It's only cost you $10. It's going to be at the Falcon Bank on the 21st of June. And I want to say to the other bank presidents, this is not a promotion for Falcon. So it's something that the other banks may want to get to their people that you're working with and whatever, and get them to this seminar, because the FBI said this is going to be the next biggest problem for businesses in the United States. So take one of them along, send in your $10, and 7:30 in the morning, and we'll have some coffee and rolls before. Thank you.
Today's speaker is Claudia Parliament. Claudia has been the executive director for 20 years of the Minnesota Council on Economic Education, and locally, St. Cloud State University is one of 5 centers in Minnesota. And Claudia is going to tell you what a remarkable gem we have here in St. Cloud and some of the remarkable stuff that they're doing here. The goal of the Council on Economic Education is to increase economic and financial literacy, especially among students. And they have programs at all levels, but they focus on K-12. She has also, for 27 years, been a professor of applied economics at the University of Minnesota, and we're very happy to have her with us. And also, she'll introduce some of the special guests up here at the table. And Claudia, it's all yours.
Does this work? Okay. I have to say I'm absolutely delighted to be here because I want to bring you the good news about what a great gem you have here, as John has just said. Thank you for the introduction. That you have here at St. Cloud State University. You have a Center for Economic Education that's one of the premier centers in the country, and I don't think you know about it. So I'm here to tell you about it today, and so you can see all the wonderful achievements that it has managed to, how it's managed to excel during this time. A little bit about the Minnesota Council. We're a 501c3. We were established 50 years ago. And if you think about 50 years ago, that was during the Cold War. And it was at a time when business leaders and teachers and others in the country thought that we needed to have more education going on in our schools about our economic system. That was back during the Cold War. And we were very concerned about what might happen between socialism, communism, and free market systems. So the National Council was formed earlier than 50 years ago, but the Minnesota Council was one of the first ones that was started through the leadership of business leaders and economists and teachers, thinking that it was time that we worry about the economic literacy of our citizenry. And what the council decided to do was to focus on teaching teachers as the most effective way to increase the economic literacy in our youth. So the Minnesota Council was set up specifically with the idea that they would try to provide professional development to teachers and to work with the youth to have them as they grow up learn more about our economic system. That was the best bang for the buck, more or less to say, the best leverage that we could have. Because once we teach a teacher, they are able to stay in the classroom for many years and continue to reach the students. So I thought I had a little clicker up here, but it's disappeared, so I'll do this. What we try to do when we're working with teachers is we provide as many professional development programs as we can. We try to provide student contests to signal to teachers what's important for the students to learn. We provide teacher recognition because we want those teachers that do a good job of teaching to be able to get acknowledged and recognized by their peers and their school administrators. And we also advocate for more economics in the school system. So you have to realize that back when the council was first started, that there were only 40% of all social studies teachers had, well, I put it another way, 40% of the social studies teachers had no formal training in economics, and yet that was the place where economics was supposed to be taught. And a lot of the teachers were licensed without having any economics. And so we were starting from a situation where our teachers really didn't have the ability to teach our students, and that's why the council put its first emphasis on trying to develop materials and professional development for the teachers so that they could get the expertise that they needed to do a good job through the professional development training programs. So the center here at St. Cloud State University was one of the very first ones that was established. It's also been in existence. It started its activities 50 years ago, but it didn't exactly form to an official center until a couple of years later. And this was set up with the idea that the center here at St. Cloud State University would service the central part of Minnesota. You can see that this is where we have our other centers. All the centers are located at a higher education institution because we wanted to provide programs for both in-service teachers that were already out in the community trying to get their expertise up, as well as what we call pre-service teachers, who are the people who are becoming teachers. So that's why we strategically planted centers at these higher education institutions at the University of Minnesota and St. Cloud State. Now the Minnesota State Universities at Mankato and Moorhead. We also have one at St. Thomas University. So it's a very interesting collaboration of the MNSCU system, the University of Minnesota, and private schools, all coming together realizing that we need to try to address this need to increase the literacy among our students. So, I want to give you just a little bit of history, because I don't think even the people who are here, which I will acknowledge in a few minutes, know as much about the history, because I've been reading all our old annual reports and become an armchair historian for your St. Cloud Center. So, in 1962, SCSU planned an in-service economic education program, and they offered the first Winter Institute, which has been going on for 50 years. And as you know, it's a very large event now, but it started by the center, or the people who formed the center at St. Cloud State University 50 years ago, and it's been going on since then. In 1963, we started the St. Cloud State University Center, which was established by then, offered a one-day economic education conference for business education teachers, and over 100 teachers and administrators attended. In 1965, the center sponsored 2 economic education workshops for more than 75 teachers, and that was the same year that they invited Leonard Hurwitz to be the speaker at the Winter Institute, and if you follow the Nobel laureates, he received the Nobel laureate in the 1990s, and so we were early on recognizing the importance that he had. In '68, you had your parochial school start a project for the adaptation and revision of curriculum for economic learning, along with your laboratory school here in St. Cloud State. So you see that each year building and adding more things to what you are doing. In '69, they got a National Science Foundation grant here at SCSU to pursue a social studies curriculum revision for economic learning. They also did a 11-session program with KTCA on economic education, so that they were trying to reach out to a wide variety of people around the state. In 1970, they started a a major research program on the effectiveness in-service instructional programs with a grant from the Bremer Foundation. And they wanted to look at the retention of the college economics course 1 year after it was over with. In '71, they piloted a program in consumer economics and developed a guide to supplement social studies curriculums in early grades. And that turned into later where St. Cloud State University Center was established as a national center for teaching economics using children's literature. So early on they started experimenting with how you could bring literature to the early grades, and later on they became a specialized center to address that issue. The center here at St. Cloud State University continued to receive a number of NSF grants to support structural improvement, and they started working with major projects in Annandale, Cold Springs, Foley, and St. Cloud. So it's got a long, early history of being an important center at the national level. And what I would like to do now is just to introduce some of the people who have been involved in that, because we have the current director and 2 of the former St. Cloud State University Center directors. All of these individuals have contributed significantly to the effort both statewide and nationally. And I think that sometimes their efforts don't get recognized in their own local community. As these center directors, what they do is what I just mentioned that the council does, is they've been delivering economic education programs to teachers. They've been writing curriculum, they've been writing grants, they've been undertaking economic education research, and they've also been providing a lot of community outreach education programs. So Ken Rebeck, who's over here, who was introduced earlier, is the current director, and he's one of the premier researchers on economic education and program evaluation in the whole country. The National Council early on, when they decided that we needed to improve economic education, besides developing materials and encouraging people to offer workshops for pre-service and in-service teachers, they realized that they needed to have some kind of standardized testing so that they could make comparisons across countries between rural and urban schools and over time. And so the National Council developed a whole series of standardized norm tests which could be used for research as well as used by school districts so that they could understand how they were doing, if they were actually teaching economics to their students or not. And Ken has become the person who's the go-to person for revising these early tests that were developed in the 1960s. So he's he's done a revision of the test for economic literacy, which is for high school, for the basic economics test, which is for the elementary grades, the test for economic knowledge, which is for the middle school grades, and the test for understanding of college economics. So he's been responsible for updating and making all those tests relevant for all of the researchers throughout the country that want to find out how we're doing on that. He's also been responsible for the assessment on Financial Fitness for Life, which is a major personal finance curriculum that's been developed by the National Council. And he's been the evaluator for the Learning, Earning, and Investing publication that the National Council has come out with. And he also has done the evaluation for Financing Your Future. So they're coming, when the National Council develops these materials, they come to Ken. They have him do the research on, are these programs working, are they not working? And as a result, he's published a number of articles on methods of assessment in the college economics class, measurement techniques of student performance and literacy, college and high school, the effects of financial education and the financial knowledge of high school students, economic literacy, adults and opinions of adults. And this is my favorite one because it affected me personally. He did a study on high school economic education in Eastern Europe, findings from 5 nations. And that's because I have been involved with the National Council's International Outreach Program, where we've been trying to provide economic education to the countries undergoing economic transition, such as Russia, South Africa, Indonesia, Egypt, and South America. So he was one of the people that went in and documented how effective our programs have been and resulted in continued funding for that program for more than 15 years. But it was because he was able to go in and actually document all of the important things that have happened with that international program effort. In the process of doing all these things, he's received the National Association of Economic Education's Rookie of the Year Award in 2003. And he's also won an award for the Best Economic Education Research Project. So we have a nationally recognized person sitting here in the list working at St. Cloud State University. The other person that I need to introduce here is Professor Rich McDonald, who was the center director or the assistant director from 1994 to 98, and again from 2002 to 2011. He has served as the president of the National Association of Economic Educators, which is a very prestigious position. And he's been recognized for the creative materials he developed, because while he wasn't being center director here for a while, he went out and worked at our national organization, where he was the vice president for programs. And then after he served as that, then he served on our senior management team as an advisor for program development and delivery initiatives, because we work with a national organization that brings in materials for us to bring to teachers in each of our states, because most states have an economic education council. So he was the one that was figuring out what materials needed to be developed and made sure that they were being developed and made them available to all of us that are trying to go out and actually work with the teachers. So he also, I was very appreciative of the fact that he served as the executive director for the council while I was on sabbatical for one time, so he did a great job there too. I think the things that might come home for you to recognize more is while he was the director of the St. Cloud Center, he actually started the quarterly business report, which I know you all read regularly. And while he was running the Winter Institute, during the time he was the center director, he started the Economic Outlook sessions, which I suspect many of you go to. So those two programs, which I'm sure you participated in, are the result of Rich McDonald's efforts while he was center director. Okay, if you have other recent center directors here that are also highly celebrated, Mark Partridge was the director for a while. He's now a chair professor at Ohio State University. And of course, you all know King Banyan. He was our center director for a couple of years. Now he's a member of the Minnesota House of Representatives. And of course, he's the former head of economics. Professor Bodbertson is also here. He's now the interim dean of the School of Public Affairs at St. Cloud State University and a world-renowned expert in labor economics. And he organized a very good Winter Institute while he was serving as center director on labor economics. So it's nice to see such a great contingent here. And I have to say that I don't think that we would have Ken Reback here as our director right now if the department head, Patricia Hughes, hadn't encouraged him. Twisted his arm to say it's time to be the center director, so I'm very glad that you're here to support Ken too. Some things that I will hurry here. These are the kind of materials that we develop, that the National Council has developed, but what I mostly want to talk about is this economics challenge contest that we have. I told you we did student contests. And this is the idea to encourage people to learn about economics. It's been going on for more than 25 years. But the reason why I want you to know this is, here's our next slide. We have a team that participates in your St. Cloud State University Center, Little Falls. They have twice become national champions in the economics challenge, which is absolutely amazing. It's very competitive. Over 3,000 different teams compete in this contest, and they've twice taken the national contest in 2009 and again in 2012. The only reason why they didn't get it in 10 and 11 is because they didn't offer a contest for only one semester courses. So what the Little Falls teacher did is he ran to the National Personal Finance Contest, and he won both of those 2 years that he competed at the national contest. So in your backyard, you have a teacher who has been taking national teams in personal finance and economic challenges. He teaches in the region that's serviced by the Center for Economic Education. While I'm doing this, I just want to say that we also have this contest, Global Food Challenge, where we try to get students to write. And we have a perennial winner that is from Melrose in Albany. We get winners from right here in your backyard. They always are submitting award-winning lessons. And the teaching awards, some of the people in this area have received teaching awards. There are teachers from Buffalo, Delano, Miltona, and I can't remember another place of what are teaching awards. That's where we recognize people for their excellence. And here we are. We've used Ken Reback's test for economic literacy to demonstrate that our students who would participate, or the students of teachers who participate in our programs actually score higher on any kind of recognition program or achievement evaluation, and that's thanks to Ken's work on keeping that test current. Let's see, you have had some early leaders here in your community involved in our program. The president of St. Cloud State University has been on our board of directors since its beginning up until in the late, I guess in the early 90s. The president of St. Cloud State University has served on our board. One of them later became chair of our board. There have been Otter Tail Power Company in Fergus Falls, had somebody on our board for 20 years. Don Helgeson, who's sitting right here. He's been on our board, let's see if I can remember. He was a board member for 12 years in 79 to 91, and then again from 94 to 2003. And Jack Frost and Golden Plum were early supporters of the Minnesota Council and have contributed generously ever since. So they have a long-standing contribution to the statewide network that we have. So both Golden Plum and Otter Tail Power Company are really very big in our history. And I have a whole list of St. Cloud companies that have supported the Minnesota Council during this time because they recognize we need a national network. So I know I have to finish, and I'm supposed to be done in 1 minute. I just want to say that we've come a long way from 40% of the teachers not having any economics to the point where we now have economics and personal finance required at every grade level beginning in 2013. That's a long way for us to come in 50 years from hardly any teachers knowing what they're doing to now having it required K through 12. So everybody has to have an economics course to graduate. That economics course is supposed to include personal finance, and all of the grade levels will be exposed to the ideas about households, businesses, consumers, investors, so that we are definitely on our way to having good personal finance and economic literacy in the state. And it's been because we've had great centers and very strong board of directors. Our current board of directors here, because I need to make sure that I'm truthful, and that's Jim Hamill. He's the person who organized and promoted me coming up here to tell you what a great story we have. So with that, I want to just thank you for all the support this area, this region has provided to our efforts throughout the past few years.
Are there any questions here? Yes.
Yeah.
Sure.
How does St. Cloud teachers test out on competency and are they cooperating with your program?
Yes, we have quite a few teachers from this region that come in.
Not region, St. Cloud.
The actual, well, there's, at that economics challenge contest that we have, you always have schools from St. Cloud participating in that. Little Falls beat them out recently, but you know, they are participating. We have had more different teams go to the national competition than any other state, and we have, as you've seen, 4 different national champions. It's hard to get out of the state, it's hard to get out of our local competitions. It's very tough to be the winner on the St. Cloud State Econ Challenge to go to the state, to go to the regional, to go to the national. So you are participating, but right now they have to compete with Little Falls to get any further. Yeah.
Is there any cooperation between your efforts and the efforts of junior achievements? Because you seem to have a common goal.
Yes, actually, on your table, there's a listing of the things we do this summer. And one of the things we do is offer a conference, and we do that in conjunction with Jumpstart and Junior Achievement and NEFI, the National Endowment for Financial Education, because we recognize that teachers of economics get left out of the business education, the social studies, and others. So we came together with the other like-minded organizations. We worked with Junior Achievement in originally trying to get economics into the profile of learning and then into the first set of academic standards. So we meet each other. I really like the fact that they bring speakers and programs into the classroom, and I think they really appreciate the fact that we spend more time trying to get the teachers trained. So I think we view each other as complementary organizations, all trying to get literacy increased.
Okay, well, thank you very much. I have to say, I did not know this existed right here in our backyard. It's amazing what you learn at Rotary on Tuesdays. We have a couple more minutes and a couple happy dollars. I saw some people want to give me money, so come on up quick. You got a couple minutes if you want to. I'll start by putting down a $5 bill for a great opportunity to travel with my family in Ireland the last 10 days. We had sunshine, we got so cold, we were shivered, we had all sorts of stuff. But we had a great time with the whole family and seeing my son at Glenstall Abbey. Dan?
First of all, if you take a look at those tickets, that beautiful family that's pictured on the raffle tickets is my daughter and her family, so I have to give a happy buck for that. And for those of you that haven't picked up your t-shirts yet, I'll be back there.
All right, you two, let's go one fast. Sorry.
Many of you know that I've been matched with my little sister in the Big Brothers Big Sisters program for 4 years. And so Saturday evening, I watched with pride as she received her high school diploma after missing so much school in her younger years. And she lost her mom during this time, these 4 years we've been together. She's gone through a lot, and really, you know, it's been a huge accomplishment for her to make up the time, just the credits and things she needed to graduate. So I was just so proud of her. And we leave, I'll actually be leaving this week, but we'll be in D.C. next week at this time at the National Leadership Summit Conference, and we'll be receiving our award for National Big Sister of the Year. And hopefully getting to meet the president. It sounds like we'll have a photo op with him and stuff like that. So I might have some bigger bucks to pay next time.
Well, I have 10 happy bucks. I was also in Ireland. Did you kiss the Blarney Stone?
I didn't need to.
You guys know that you have to do a mean backflip to kiss the Blarney Stone and climb 129 steps. But mostly this is for the birth of my newest grandchild, Jackson Joseph Vincent, born on May 23rd.
I was around last week, but those are $2 for the fact that the fire that was in Ely came within 5 blocks of my old home and within 3 blocks of my aunt, who's 93 years old and had to be evacuated, or at least had to be mentioned to be evacuated. So I want to thank the winds for turning to the wind.
Some significant things have happened to me lately. One is I moved. I no longer live in a patio home, but I live in Benedict Livers. And so that's what I now, and I sold my house. That's worth $1. I just returned from a cruise to Alaska, and it was on a Norwegian ship, so that was worth $1. And I saw a lot of whales and sea lions, and that's worth $1.
Cane's worth another $1. Tim Winsman and I, once a year, or once or twice a year, we'll actually go down to Lake George and we just do a walk around the lake to observe things, to look at things that we can talk to the city about, making sure that they're up to speed. And we did that last week, and it was interesting. We walked around for about 45 minutes, and in the course of that walking around, you know, granted there's a little weeds here and there that need to be done, but in the course of walking around the entire park, I picked up one piece of paper, and we saw nothing significant that needed to be fixed. And if you drive by there now, you'll see hundreds and hundreds of people down there. So not only are people using it, they're taking care of it. And so it was so neat. And I asked him, I said, what did you pick up? He said, nothing, you took it.
Want to thank Bud there for coming over to visit, and Don and Sue for coming by and saying hello and being here, and the other guests who came in from St. Cloud State. John Bodette, who's on next week?
Well, I tell you what, all our guests from St. Cloud State may want to just stick around and stay till next week, because we have the Chancellor of the Minsky System, Stephen Rosenstone, coming to talk about what's new with Minsky. So you might want to stick around. I'm sure he's going to say big budget increases and everything else.
Okay, very good, John. And if you have not picked up your t-shirt or your raffle ticket, when does this first concert? Next week already? June? Next?
75 and sunny.
75 and sunny. Next week we begin. And with that, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you all for coming.